Hi, my name is Greg Martellotto. I'm the owner and founder of One Vine Wines. If you're watching this, perhaps you've sent us an inquiry with an interest to start your own wine label, to have your own private label, or what we also refer to sometime in the business as a white labeled wine or product. Our secret success in this space is that I happen to also own a winery. Martellotto Winery is an award-winning winery in Santa Barbara. We're focused mostly on vineyard-specific wines from the Santa Barbara and Central Coast region, including Paso Robles and the larger Central Coast area. But we're able to source wines from elsewhere. And since One Vine Wines is an import distribution company, we can also source wines from Europe, South America, and other places. Many people reach out to us with an interest in having their own branded wine. Trading in wine is rather complicated because it's regulated by local, state, and federal authorities, and there's tax entities at every stage of the way. That's the first thing, is if you have any intention to buy wine and sell wine, you have to be licensed to do so. Other people are interested in having, say, a wine for the holidays. They want to put their brand on it to extend their business name or brand to their clients or their employees or vendors. We do offer that service. There's typically a minimum purchase of up to 4 pallets or 224 cases. So each case is 12 bottles. You do the math. If it's even a $10 bottle cost, it's probably $25,000 just to start. What I suggest is to use a minimum viable product. Take a stepwise approach to developing your own product, your own wine brand or label. Let me give you some examples of how we help other clients do this. Unless you have a large audience who is already purchasing product from you, whether that's a large Instagram audience, Facebook following, or TikTok, it could even be a mailing list, it could be that you're selling them chocolates or cheese or salami. You need to take a step back and figure out how you can initiate a wine project and identify that your clients will follow you and take your suggestion to actually buy wine you recommend. So I don't recommend you try to put your face or your name or a pink elephant on a wine label to start. Rather, I suggest we use something like a sticker. It's relatively easy to affix to an existing wine brand or label, and just put a sticker that says Happy Holidays from your banker, your mortgage lender, your real estate agent, favorite contractor, fill in the blank. These are relatively easy things that become very nice gifts, take home. They go to people's houses, they sit on their kitchen counter or their refrigerator, they drink it, they remember, they look at it, and they're fond of you, the person who produced that wine, who gifted it to them. The other thing that we offer is we own Big Hammer Wines, an online direct-to-consumer retail store. This is our special sauce. We're vertically integrated in a way unlike most anyone else. This is in part because we're allowed to do that in California. In most states, you can't be involved in all 3 tiers as producer, importer, distributor, and retailer. One of the ways in which we work with influencers in particular, people who have existing clients or email distribution lists, is we create a landing page for them. On that landing page, we would promote or propose several different wines. You could be involved in that selection. We could have a co-branded landing page where it says, this is Amelia, who is a wine lover, who travels the globe, who was recently in Italy and has proposed this selection of Italian wines. We could even put a sticker on the bottle that says Amelia's favorite wine. The reason I suggest this is because it's that MVP, a very low-cost way to create a landing page, which can be done for maybe $1,000. We can create the branding around your brand, your logo, and about you, and list some wines that we could suggest. Then you could take over the marketing. You could drive traffic to that landing page, whether through your social media or email list or however you want to market. And if people start converting, meaning they buy the wines that you're suggesting, now we have data. Your customers have told you what they're interested in. Is it white wine? Is it red wine? Is it sparkling wine? Is it rosé wine? Is it sweet wine? And you've now created a business because you've generated sales, which we pay a commission on. You have more information to know, okay, we did this for a few months. We identified we were able to sell 1,000 cases of Chardonnay or 200 cases of sweet wine. or 150 cases of a sparkling wine at a certain price. $20 sells better than $50. So that means Prosecco or Cava Cremant instead of champagne. Now you have actionable information which can inform and help you decide how to move forward in producing your own bespoke and private branded white labeled wine. That's the easiest way to get started with us. You're still responsible for the marketing, and we at Big Hammer Wines can handle the selection, the sourcing, and the shipping to most states. And for this, you don't need any licensing or any administrative back office to do the tax compliance part, which is a heavy lift. If you're still motivated after all that information to start your own branded wine, let me give you some information about the tax compliance requirements. First, if you do want to get licensed to buy, sell, and trade wine, you would need to contact your local state authority, ABC office. You'll also need to contact the TTB to get a license from the federal government. Then you need to set yourself up to pay taxes, usually with the Department of Revenue and Secretary of State in your particular state. At that point, we would require an upfront full payment for any wine that we produce for you, because once we put your label on it, it's yours. We can define that wine. You can send us examples or samples of wines that you really like, that you want to mirror or mimic. Now, one of the things is some people think like, oh, I really want this wine, and they'll give me an example of a $50 plus bottle of wine and say, well, I really only want to pay $10 or $8. And it's like, well, that's a $50 bottle of wine. That's not a $8 bottle of wine. We need to make sure we're on the same page about the types of wines that we can produce and cost basis. Then we can help you with logistics, because we are a distributor. One Vine can ship wine to a variety of states, and you can have your licensed entity, in which case you're now the owner of that wine, typically with a wholesale license. What other clients of ours have done is they have a relationship with a wholesaler in their state who is now technically the owner of that wine because we sold it to them. Of course, you would have typically paid for the wine in advance, but now the wine is owned by that distribution company in that state. And now you can play that marketing role where you go out and sell door to door, or maybe you have a goal to sell online, which is another can of worms regarding the direct shipping licensing rules for different states. Very complicated. I don't recommend you get into that. But if you wanted to start selling wine to stores or restaurants or a hotel, whatever, in your neighborhood, your city, your state, that distributor then could manage the warehousing, delivery, invoicing, and tax compliance associated with those sales. Again, you're in a position where you may not need to be licensed in that role. Really, you're just more of a sales agent slash broker, but you're building a brand that you own because it's got your label on it. Just want to clarify, buying and selling wine is complicated. Most people have this idea, hey, I'm a wine expert, or hey, I love wine. And people take my recommendations or suggestions because I'm a thought leader, or I'm an influencer, or whatever. That's all well and good. But you now have hopefully some more information about how to approach the business and how to be successful. And if you're still interested, reach out, we can help. Cheers.